Welcome back for another episode of Zwift Games 2026. Today we're going to be taking a look at Stage 2, Hudson Hustle, 20 kilometers and 216 meters of elevation. So without further ado, let's get into the race. So straight out of the gate, and as you can see in the top right hand corner, we see just how much climbing is in the first section of this race. And you know, I'll be honest, I wasn't looking forward to it. Straight out of the warm-up, my legs were feeling heavy, surprisingly. Even though I had a rest day the day before, I just really was not feeling it. And as you can see, we're at the front now, and we're trying not to push too much. And then the bunch comes together, and I actually get caught off guard by this and have to put a little sprint to keep on. Which, yeah, when you've got this much climbing early on as well, I just, you know, shouldn't have had to waste any energy there, but you know, we live and learn. And you'll also notice that so many people are popping their feathers so early on, which was quite surprising to me. And yeah, we get to the first little bit of the climb with the entire bunch, and nothing really crazy is happening here. Everyone's just sitting in. Nobody really wants to push too hard. It's getting a bit strung out, but we know that this is not the major bit of the climb, and I think it will split up eventually, but for now, because you can already see on the right hand side that people are getting strung out, and there is a little gap opening towards the back, so I'm just trying to push here to just get back on the front just before it peaks up again. We push through, and then we put the watts down again just to push over this crest, trying to stay with this front group because I think it's going to split up again. But I think it's more just out of worry that I just don't want to get dropped. And again, loads of people using feathers here, which caught me off guard. I just didn't expect people to use them so early on. I thought everyone would try and save them to the end, but obviously that's beneficial to me, so I won't complain too much about it. And then yeah, just staying with this front pack, trying to get as much draft as possible and bring the heart rate down already, because we're already at 176, which is not fantastic. And then we push over this little bit of a crest and we're already up to 180. So I was feeling it quite a bit here, but you'll notice that there was a little gap that opened up again there, and it's just swiftly closed down, and everyone's just getting back in a bunch, and we're just trying not to overdo it. Yeah, now we see that there's a big gap that's opened up at the back, so this is very beneficial for us later on, but also I don't want to get dropped from this pack that I'm with currently. So here we have it coming down into the first proper challenge. I think it only goes up to about 5%, but it definitely felt a lot worse than it actually was, and we're doing about 300 watts. I'm sitting mid-pack here, just trying not to push too far forward, but also I don't want to drift too far back. And the heart rate, I brought it down a little bit. We're in the 173s, 174s, but I'm just trying to hold in here, 300 watts again. So there we have it over the first little challenge of the day, and downhill before the next bigger challenge. This one does go on for longer. I think it's still only 5% or thereabouts, but it just felt really difficult. Just seemed to drag a lot longer than I thought. And in this one, I knew that I'd be wanting to stay within the top 20 at least, due to my racing score. You know, I'm at the higher end of this category, with it only capping at 450, and I was at 440, I think, coming into this race. So I really want to be at that top end and getting as many points as possible, really. So I've just got to keep on the power, and I do manage to just push through and stay with this group, but I was really hurting at this point. And as you can see, I'm trying to move over and get the draft, but sometimes it's just, you know, difficult. And then we get onto the flat section, and this is where the bunches start to come together a little bit more, which everyone starts to have a little relax on this downhill. And then, again, we got another tiny little kick here that I didn't know whether people were going to go off the front here, because it seems like a good opportunity to, but I think everyone was just absolutely energy drained from the climb before it and doesn't want to put too much into it. But I knew that I couldn't rest too much, because obviously I didn't want to risk getting dropped. So just pushing through the group now. Some people do try to push a good amount off the front, but we don't let them get away. We managed to keep up. I do stand briefly there just to push through, and as you can see, nobody's going anywhere too fast, which, you know, I probably could have saved more energy on that, but yeah, didn't want to risk anything. I was a little bit too scared. And as you can see here, the pace is nothing too much, but it's getting strung out a little bit. If you look at the map and then we come to this section and it just all comes back together, downhill, seems to just be the sweet spot for it. So coming up to this section, I do kind of misread and misjudge the entire group here. I thought that someone would take advantage of this little kick and try to go off the front. Maybe a group would try and get away. So I put a lot of watts down, nearly a full-on sprint, just because I thought people were just going to push through, and I thought it'd be a nice opportunity to get a good group going, but nobody else went, and it's kind of disappointing because I thought we could change things up a little bit. I know we're going down into subway, but yeah, just nobody else came, so I stepped off the power, let everyone come back together, and sat back in. So the bunch was still quite big here, and I thought we could try and get it down more, but now we're really losing opportunities. There is this little section just after this subway. So we put the watts down coming out of the escalator just to keep the momentum high, and you'll notice that there's a couple of people that have just sprinted off the front. Now, I'm not too concerned here. I thought we'd be able to bring this back quite easy. So through the Times Square banner, and we have brought them riders back now. They just didn't get a solid effort. I think they'd have been actually a lot better just waiting to go on this little punchy section here. So yeah, with the group back together again, not really too much happens. So a couple of kilometers on, and we're just pushing out of the subway. Putting in a little bit of an effort, because I do see 2 or 3 riders just pushing off the front, and they have got a little bit of a gap on us. And I really just want us to close that down as soon as possible. We're nearing 2.5 kilometers to go, and we just can't throw this away now. We need to be in with a chance of getting on the front at least. So I'm putting down a couple of extra watts just to try and claw some back, and you'll see people pushing through the group just trying to bring it back, and fortunately we do manage to just catch them. So this little sprint segment does have an uphill, but it is not the final sprint, so I don't want to be wasting too much energy here. And looking back at it, this might have been a bad decision, but I do choose to drop my feather here, because as you can see, there's people pushing really quite hard, and those with the feather do go straight to the front of the group, and I feel like I should be up there with them. So I push forward to this little group in the first 10 of us or so, and someone does push off the front once again, and it is heating up, and we've only got one little section left. So I let the group come back together, try and save a little bit of energy, because at this point my legs were hurting. I didn't think that I'd be able to make it to a sprint. And now we're nearing time for the final effort, and you know, I'm looking pretty good in this position. I'm pretty happy with myself, and I go early, which in hindsight was a terrible idea. As you can see, I just burn out way too early and get caught, and I just have to trundle over the line. I had nothing left in the legs, but there we have it, a 6th position, which I'm pretty happy with. I could have got a podium out of that, but I just didn't play it smart at the end. But I did give it my all, and yeah, it was just a real struggle, especially to get that final sprint down. I just had nothing left in the legs. I was thoroughly done, but we'll take it and we'll move on to stage 3. So thanks for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video and want to see more, of course. Once again, thanks for watching.